What's going on, motherfuckers? Welcome to the Crocs and Hot Pockets podcast. My name is Knackers, and today is Sunday, February 27th, 2022, and this is episode number 173 of the podcast. Welcome. Hope you guys are all doing solid tonight on the show. We have the beautiful, the bearded McQueeb. What's going on, man?
Hello, Knackers. It's lovely to see you.
It is great to see you as well. You are just... you definitely look like you have a mane. So, like, fierce lion is obviously your spirit animal. I don't care if you say if it's anything different.
I have had no beard. I have had the 5 o'clock shadow, intentional 5 o'clock shadow. You know how it is. You sort of buzz the whole face.
Yep.
I have had a goatee, and now I've had this. It's been longer, it's been shorter, and I'm happy. I'm living my best life right now, Knackers. I don't know if you knew this. I'm a little bit older, and we're getting the white and the salt and pepper coming through, and it works. It works well, and I'm comfortable. It definitely helps with my confidence, I guess. It's a superficial thing, but if you look good or if you feel like you look good, you are mentally in a better place.
100%. Which one of your facial states is your lady's favorite?
Definitely this.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, she says, because we have photos of me with without facial hair and with different different styles, whatever, and yeah, she says I look like my own cousin when I don't have a beard.
Okay.
It de-ages me about 15 years. It's very unusual.
Interesting. When people is your age public on your page? Like how known do you make your age in your live stream?
I'm 42 this year.
He just came out and said it.
Yeah.
Does that?
It's not. It's not listed on the thing, but it's
okay.
It's no secret.
Does it surprise people when the number comes out? Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't necessarily think I act. And like my parents, I remember them when they were in their 40s and early 50s, and I'm not like them, right? We're renting. We've got animals everywhere. No kids. No plans to have kids.
Hell yeah. Fuck kids. I hate those little bastards. We were just talking about kids in anime stream the other day.
I don't know. And like most of my friends are younger.
Right.
In their 30s. And I don't feel like I'm older. Like my body does. Getting out of bed in the morning, I feel like I'm getting older. But no, definitely when it comes to my mental state, I'm the best I've ever been. So, yeah.
I was having I can't remember who I was talking about recently, but we were talking about age and again how the mind feels young and the body doesn't. And I hadn't thought about this before, but I thought, man, it feels like forever since high school, right? For me, it's been 10 plus, so like coming up on 15 years since I was a senior in high school. But to think that my brain still thinks that I'm young now, even though me being really young was 15 years ago young. And that totally blew me the fuck away because I don't know why, and I would love to talk to a therapist about why my brain goes back to high school so much. Like why do I think about it? Why do I think about the people from high school? Why am I always concerned about where they're at or like if I run into them? It's such a weird.
When you say concerned, do you just visualize meeting them and going, "Oh wow, like you're doing this now," or are you actually concerned because they were your friends? Like, there's a big difference there.
The latter.
Okay.
There's probably been 5 or 6 instances of me hearing about people that I went to school with dying, and they've all been from drug overdoses.
Damn.
And the first one is so weird. The first person, I don't know how to describe the feeling of thinking about my life at that point and all of the people in it, and we were just all so not a part of this world. We were in our own little bubble and thought that our world then was how the world was going to be forever. And
Yep.
then people grow up and have kids and get married and go on to do like incredible things. And then you hear about people who died at like 18, 19 years old. Like the
Jesus.
majority
Yeah.
of the ones that passed were just that age. It was just after graduating. And like heroin, cocaine. I don't think fentanyl was as prominent 10 years ago as it is now, or at least I wasn't privy to it.
Is that something where you're from? Like, is that an epidemic where you're from?
I would say cocaine was like, so we had two schools that rivaled each other based on their location,
Sure.
but within the same city still. And cocaine and weed were like the two ones that started it off for everybody. And then yeah, heroin was, I don't want to say it was an epidemic, but it was bad enough to where I knew more than three people that were heavily addicted before we had even gotten out of high school.
Dude, close to half a dozen people. Like, so this is another thing. I grew up very privileged. My parents weren't well off at all. They sacrificed a lot to send me to a private school and um, you know, that kind of thing. But the thought of like the closest I get to heroin use is watching Train Spotting, right? Like I've
Oh, I,
never those that level of drug use has never even entered my sphere of relevance.
oh wow.
Like I've not gotten anything close to that, right? Um, and that's why I asked that question. Like, are you from a particularly rough area? I guess. Um,
So I'm on the border. So where I live now and where I went to school before, we're both on the city limits of Detroit. And when I first started high school, I can't remember the name of the law that was passed, but oh my God, shit just froze again and it crashed. There you are. Okay. Going back to
First of all,
heroin.
don't you just love technical problems?
Uh,
When stuff works, when technology works, and you see it in action, especially on production, and we're experiencing this right now, which is beautiful. But it's fabulous. You see all this magic happening, right? It lets us do so much, and then the people that are really fluent with it can do some fantastical things, right? And then there's the flip side of that, where even the smallest thing that breaks, and that's the problem with Twitch, is that it's consumer level.
right.
It breaks all the time, and we're constantly dealing with corporations that are updating their software packages all of the time, and then plug-in people, and like it's a whole ecosystem. Um, nothing stresses me out more than technical problems. If
Yeah. Oh
something
yeah.
goes down pre-stream and it's just when I'm about to stream, which is usually the time when it happens, um, I have to work to get my mindset back in line. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Oh yeah.
Like,
Because like
yeah.
right there, I felt it's just getting deeper and deeper into a great emotional conversation, and then nope, fuck off, good thoughts. Yeah, that really fucking pisses me off. And I know like especially people that use items like right now I'm using the Beacon Mix Create, and this
Mhm.
is the first product where I've had the majority of my audio funneling through a single digital entity and then going out from there, which is something that people have been experiencing with the Go XLR for forever. Not really a big deal. And when that one entity fails, it sends everything else into a frenzy. And
Yep.
hey, that's just technology, right? When you've got a single point of failure, that's just how it goes. One of the things, I used to run a extremely extravagant stream with hundreds and hundreds of scenes, sound effects, videos. I had different characters that I would play, voice effects. two mixers, two audio interfaces, and then
Oh, I've
once I
seen the rack. Yeah.
yeah, and then once I went over to just chatting, and it was like, oh, I just need to have a webcam and a microphone work, and I can stream. Like I can never go back to making anything detailed ever again, because you get in this once you find your technical zen with your OBS and with your audio, like being able to just start it and go live and be done is amazing. And case in point, dual PC setup. If I was doing this all on a single PC, I would be fucked right now. But because I've got the streaming PC that holds everything up, we're able to continue. So thank you, double PC gods. Oh man, McQueeb, what do you love? What do you love most in life right now?
Oh, Miss Queeb, obviously. Big question. Bait.
Mm-hmm.
Um, honestly, I'm not in a great place now. Um, it's all financial. Since losing my job in August, um, I've had to really sort of amp up the the streaming. I'm still looking for work. I would love a job that allows me to combine the two passions, whether that's slash, the influencer sphere,
Mm-hmm.
um, production uh, together. That would be amazing. And I'm still looking for work. I look for work every day. I've applied for hundreds of jobs, um,
Goddamn.
but I can't land one right now.
You know
I have had a few interviews, but yeah.
what? I know you said that you're looking for something that could combine the two. Do you have something that you were looking for specifically? Like, do you want to still work in broadcasting? Do you want to be more involved on the back end of a different broadcast? If that was something that your day job entailed.
Yeah. I was working, I can't say who for, but a major network. I was in IT um, tech there, and we were dealing with broadcast all the time. So when it comes to, we had we had we had a Windows XP system because we had some weird obscure device, it just some kind of capture unit, and it only worked with Windows XP. It was the like highest operating system was ever supported, but we couldn't touch it. That was and then I think it went down. I think one of the hard drives crashed, and we had to salvage it and reimage it, and it was yeah. I've had fun, but I would prefer to stay away from the technical aspects.
Oh, really? Okay.
Um, Let me rephrase. If I'm producing, that's one thing. But I think I'm better with people than I am with technology, and I think I can mix the two very well. And um, dealing with end users, I think that's in the past for me now.
So within the past year, I've kind of moved over to a little bit different of a position. I'm now a half technician, but also a half managing our knock. So assisting our
Mm.
department lead with triaging tickets and just handling general ticket flow. Dealing with customers on the scheduling side and more of like the project lead, where you're the main contact between the technical side of your team and the customer. And when I first started this job, a year in, one of my managers said, that you're not going to be a tech forever, right? Like, that you're going to end up in management and you're going to leave tech shit behind. I'm like, lady, what do you know about me? You don't know how much I love tech and how much I love being in the weeds and dealing with customers. But now that I've been in more of a managerial, is that a word? Managerial?
That is the word,
It
yes.
is?
Yeah.
Sweet. I must have picked that up on fucking Wordle. But now that I'm in that spot and I'm out of the end user remote sessions, like resetting passwords, I'm like, wait a minute. Maybe this lady was right. And my last job was me, myself, and I managing technology. And this new job is me on a team. And how my day goes is very much based off of how the work ethic of my colleagues. And that is something that is new to me that I'm not a big fan of. So managing other people and their work ethics, I don't know if I'm really suited for quite yet, but we'll see what happens in the coming years.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things that requires it requires soft skills that need to be trained. You need to learn that, right? It's not given to people naturally. I think the people that think that they have that natural talent make the worst managers,
Oh
um,
yeah,
because they don't understand people first. They understand the job, and they think that they can push that square head peg into a round hole, and it just doesn't work like that. That's not
sure.
that's not how people work. Um, yeah, yeah, that's what I'm really wanting to get into is influencer relations or PR, um, in gaming. I think that's what I want to do next. I've spoken to a few people in pretty significant marketing positions for a couple of publishing houses, and where I'm lacking there is the experience.
Sure.
So I essentially need to start over in a new career with a company that's willing to give me a chance. Yeah.
There's been a few companies lately that I've started working with, that have taken the chance. And I have to say that I hope you find that soon, because finding somebody that you've only worked with digitally or remotely, to take a chance on you is like one of the most, it's such a massive confidence boost to find a company or an entity that is willing to work with you based
Hmm.
on the limited experience that you have. Um,
Yep.
and it makes those business relationships all the more, I don't know, emotional. Like, I don't really know how to describe it, but having somebody reach out and be like, "Hey, we like your shit, and we would like your shit to become our shit. So let's make something work here." And that's never
That's
something that
called
I've.
trust.
Oh, is that what it's called?
Yeah. Yeah.
How long did you work at your last job?
3 years.
Okay,
Yeah.
and you have lived in West Coast for how long?
I've lived in the States. Well, Miss Queeb and I moved to Florida for a while. Uh, but I've been in the States probably 12 years now, I think,
Okay,
roughly. Yeah.
okay. Switching gears here really quick. I'm so fucking terrible at this. I'm always so interested in having the conversation that I forget to introduce you to the
Huh?
audience. And this time I have a straw man. I can blame it on the terrible technical
That's
qualities
right.
of
Technical
this
problems. Yes. Yeah.
show. So McQueeb, please give us a little intro, a little elevator pitch, if you will, of who you are and what you do here on Twitch.
Name's McQueeb. Obviously, that's not my real name, but I stream indie games and roguelikes every night, pretty much from around about 6 p.m. Pacific. I am a community-driven streamer. I'm very proud of my community, and I'm very proud of what I've done on the channel. I'm a Twitch partner, and I pride myself on being inclusive, calm, inviting, friendly, and not sassy in the slightest.
Slash S a little bit at the end there. I don't
Little
know if
bit,
like a little bit.
little bit.
So when you're at your sassiest, because I've seen you get a little sassy, but it's always warranted, because some of the people that come into your channel and decide to speak, have no business speaking. And so I've seen you clap back, as the kids would say these days, when you are at your sassiest, but on the outside you look completely calm and composed. What is your actual rage level inside on a scale from 1 to 10?
It depends on the situation, honestly. I have an acting background, and I often can't turn that side of me off.
Okay.
Like it's partially ingrained, and it got me into a lot of trouble when I moved to the United States. My sense of humor has been honed over the years, I'm Australian, sarcastic by nature. I moved to the United Kingdom. I lived there for about 4 or 5 years.
Oh, I
Um,
didn't know that.
yeah,
Okay.
yep. And I went straight from there to here after meeting my ex-wife. Mhm.
Oh,
Um, and I come across as very serious sometimes, and
yes.
for me, it's the funniest fucking thing I've said in my entire life. But people can't tell that I'm joking necessarily,
Me included.
um, which makes me a really great actor, not necessarily a great communicator when it comes to those humorous moments.
Right. So
Yeah,
the last show that we did on Anime's channel with you, me, John C. Stout, and Anime,
right.
that was when I feel like I got not under your skin, under your shell. That was the first time that I had seen what might have been the real McQueeb down below. And it's when I literally fell in love with you because I didn't know you're so hard to read. You are so impossible to read at first. I had seen a good amount of your TikToks before we had gotten together and talked, and that demeanor compared to your on-stream demeanor, just conversational, was completely different. And I'm just like, I don't know how to interact with this guy. I don't know if he thinks I'm funny. I don't know if he's being funny. I can't tell when he's sincere. And I spent a lot of time talking on that show, but looking at you and your facial expressions and waiting for you to react. But sometimes you just don't react. You are stone cold. And sometimes I see your eyelids twinkle like there's laughter going on inside. But again, can't fucking tell at all. And again, so just that last show was when I finally got a chance to maybe see who McQueeb was underneath. And I'm like, okay, I really like this guy now.
I don't mean to come across that way, but I'm also very careful. So, like, I would like to say that what you see on stream and what you see on TikTok is who I am, unless I'm in presenter mode, right?
Sure.
Like, unless I'm actually, like, I don't know, shilling for a product or something, whatever. I would like to think that what you see is who I am, but unfortunately, there is that sort of that barrier. It's not an intentional barrier. I'm not creating a character when I'm talking to you. Um, it other it just comes across that way.
Sure.
Oh, there you go. Look, Miss Queeb. I think Miss Queeb will back me up. She, yeah, definitely. It's got me in trouble. I guess I'm hard to read. I'll give you that. But that's not how I want to come across. I just think that people don't understand i- who I am and my sense of humor. And then
Sure.
add on top of that, I do have that. And I think even Anime Daddy mentioned this at one point when I was talking to him. I don't necessarily have to. I'm very careful with my words,
Hmm.
and that there's a reason for that. We can explain that as well if you like.
Absolutely.
Um, when I was at school, I was always getting in trouble, whether I was trying to be funny or saying um, things I necessarily shouldn't have been saying, or trying to be the class clown or whatever. And my parents, I was getting in trouble so much. My parents sent me to psychologists, and I hated them for that. But one thing that I learnt from going there week after week was that once you've said something, it's the toothpaste coming from the tube and trying to put it back in situation, right? Once those words are out, you can't undo that.
Right.
You might be able to fix the problem or patch it up, but you cannot reverse what's just been spoken about. So I am very intentional with the way that I speak. I I I I kind of that goes into everything that I say. and that's how I proceed in life now, is that I'm just carefully spoken, I think, is the term. So when you're looking at me and I'm stone cold or whatever, it's not because I'm trying to be apart from anyone. It's because I'm contemplating.
Sure. When
So,
you
but
are
I'm still talking naturally to you.
sure.
There's a small caveat there, I guess.
When you are in that contemplative state and you are trying to ingest what the other person is saying, but you're also trying to think of a response, do you find when you're speaking to people who don't, when you're speaking to somebody who immediately starts talking as soon as you're done, they just immediately go and they're always filling the air, does that make you uncomfortable? Or do you feel like you're speaking, do you feel like your pace is the right pace, or are you cognizant that your pace is a little bit slower? To because when you and I talk, there is more pausing and more dead air than anybody that I talk to. So at
Sure.
first it's unsettling because I'm not used to spaces in between conversation, but it is so relaxing as a conversationalist to be able to just like actually sit and ingest. So sorry, I started talking after I asked you a question.
I don't need to be the center of attention. I'm I'm comfortable to the point where if somebody else wants to talk, then I'll wait. I'll sit and listen. I don't necessarily have to talk over people, or I have millions of stories. I can add anything to a conversation. Is it necessary? You know what I mean? Like I would rather listen to other people talk than necessarily interject and put flavor on something that's already been created. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Now, if I can add value to the other person by giving life experiences or advice, if warranted or asked for, then sure, that's a different story. But no, like I'm confident enough, and I'm content, I guess, in just being. You know?
Good. And if you said anything else, at the age that you are, I would be worried because I would hope that anybody who has reached 83 years old, that they would be content with. Oh man. I'm glad. I'm glad that you're
How long were you
comfortable.
waiting to put that one in there?
At least 19 minutes, at least.
Hmm.
Um, something that has changed in me as a content creator, but not necessarily as a person, is the content that I consume now compared to the content that I consumed before. And again, as someone who used to have a very loud, bright, and eccentric stream, I was also consuming that type of content. Now, where I'm much more laid back and things are a little bit more level as far as audio is concerned, I find myself enjoying streams that I wouldn't have 2 to 3 years ago. And it's not that there was like a sudden flip of a switch where like I don't want to watch gaming streams or I don't want to watch any certain type of stream. I just felt myself naturally gravitating towards certain types of content. I have never watched your type of content, the content that you create, from anybody else. I don't watch people play roguelikes. I don't watch calm, well spoken, and collected people normally. However, you have such a homey vibe to your channel, and it's very comforting. It's a very comforting place to watch. You can be involved in chat or you cannot be involved in chat. And that's very comforting for me as a viewer, but I've never watched your type of content anywhere else. Um, and I forgot to mention this earlier, but I never recommend anybody stream every day. However, knowing that every day you're live and that you're always there to go watch in the evening is wonderful as a viewer. It's like, it's one of the greatest things ever to have a streamer that you like be live every single evening, so that like, oh man, I just need a place to just like chill out and watch, and hey, there's McQueeb.
I do the same thing. I have a my list of people that I watch regularly, and knowing that they're there is so I get that, and that's wonderful to hear being said about me. I get a few compliments every now and again, and it's you know it's nice. But coming from someone who does this professionally and takes it very seriously, that's an honor, man. So thank you. Yeah, that means a lot.
Oh, you were talking. I thought you were talking to the third person. I didn't know you were talking about me. Professionally, please give me more compliments. God, if I could even consider what the fuck I do as professional, that would be the day. You had just mentioned something that I was going to touch on. Oh, what was your, if you're okay talking numbers, what was your average viewership before you were unemployed? Because seeing your viewer count lately and being in your stream recently within the past couple months, I've seen a considerable uptick in your average viewership. And
Hmm.
obviously, when you don't have a day job to take all your time and you're streaming every single evening, and didn't you do a streaming advent calendar of sorts?
That was over through the month of December. Yeah, that was
And that
Miss
was,
Queeb's idea. Yep.
and first of all, baller idea. And did you it was streaming every single day, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I went. Actually I started streaming every day before that, and just before I took a very small break recently, I took 3 days off. I'd streamed 116 days in a row.
I
That was a lot.
noticed those
That was a
days
lot.
off. It was like 3 days in a row. I went back to check to see if McQueeb was online. I'm like, where the fuck is he? I'm like, he's supposed to be online. But you needed a break, obviously.
Yeah, big time. So looking back, um, we got like, I mean, there's some jumps and some dips. So like, I don't know, between 70 and 185, 140. It just less than what I'm currently sitting at, I think.
Okay.
Although, well, to be fair, playing Horizon and now Elden Ring, those numbers are going to dip again. But that's anticipated, so
How
it's
was
fine.
Horizon?
It's really good. It's
Uh,
really, really good. It is the most beautiful video game I've seen. Period. Stunning.
I've taken a couple peeks at what that game looked like even on a PS4, and it is still a gorgeous. I don't know how they do it, but whoever makes those games need to talk to people like fucking Call of Duty and Battlefield developers and tell them how to make beautiful games that are optimized for modern hardware. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ. How many hours are you into is it Horizon Forbidden West, right?
correct. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd have to double check. I only did maybe 3 streams, and I don't know that I'll go back to it on stream. I definitely want to keep playing it because it's an enjoyable game for me. But a lot of the shit that I want to do, like running around collecting stuff and just running around hunting uh, dinosaurs, is not the most exciting thing for viewers.
Right.
I don't know what it like. This isn't my regular sort of content. Uh, Obviously, it's not a roguelike. It's not a short game where you can get invested in a run. The run either works or it doesn't. This is long playthrough. Um, so I don't know. But at the same time, Elden Ring is now all consuming, and I definitely want to continue that. At least finish one playthrough. But it's an open world game as well. It's massive. It's unbelievably big. And I'm surprised how much they've crammed into that game. But it's very enjoyable, and I'm doing it a lot. Yeah, I'll
Awesome.
take the hit on viewers just to keep playing it because I don't get much time outside of streaming because I stream every day. And then if you add, editing and uploading to YouTube and creating original content, yeah, it's a lot. I mean, um, I haven't uploaded to TikTok in a week or two. I don't know why.
Oh.
I'm just, I'm, I can't find the 3 minutes it takes. Right. I've been having a hard time getting motivated for even streams lately. Like I'll procrastinate up until 30 minutes before I'm supposed to go live. But that includes getting shower and getting my beard looking good, which I mean that's 30 minutes by itself, isn't it?
Horizon Zero Dawn was one of I think my top 5 games ever. And knowing that game is not on PC yet is very, very sad. I have 100% FOMO of it right now. And I know this is such a first world problem, and I recognize this. I have held off playing some games because I know that the hardware that I have cannot make it as beautiful as it was meant. I've been thinking about a second Skyrim playthrough. Haven't. Cyberpunk, did not buy it, even though I wanted to. Um, I was planning on playing Fallout, and again, like Fallout isn't the most like graphically beautiful game ever, but I'm somebody who like if I spend $1,500, $2,000 on a computer, I want it to run as good as it can and as beautiful as the devs intended it. And thankfully, shout out to a homie on TikTok, AK Techie. He was able to land me a 3080 Ti at MSRP. And I bought that yesterday morning while I was still naked. And that bitch is going to be here on Wednesday. And I could not be fucking more excited.
Nice, brother. And a founder's edition too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm extremely jealous. I was looking from day one. The founders edition cards. One, they got good reviews because they had actually decent cooling, and Nvidia had put in work. But unfortunately, I was unable to get one, and then I had to wait. And then I ended up getting an EVGA. So I had a 3080, and then a year later, I just got the 3080 Ti, which I didn't need, and it was silly to do so. But it's like top of the range EVGA one. It's gonna last years. And I had to sell the 3080 just to get, I still feel guilty. It was a stupid purchase. I didn't need it. But I'm a content creator, so it's fine.
Write it off on the taxes, motherfucker. I just had a friend, my homie 42, and he bought a 3080 Ti at scalped prices in Canada. So I know for a fact that this man spent at least $2,600 on that 3080 Ti. And he won't tell me how much that he actually spent because he's probably a little embarrassed, like the same amount of embarrassment that you spent. But he's like, but my shit's awesome now. Like it hurts until you turn on that first game and you realize you're pushing, Battlefield at 144 frames at 1440p or 4K. You're like, oh my god, what is even dead? I don't give a shit. This looks amazing.
The irony of the situation is I got Elden Ring on PlayStation 5. So I'm playing it on console anyway.
Why?
So I'm running a single machine rig.
That's right. That's right.
My streaming setup, single machine, and not that that's really gonna matter really. Like I've got a 5950 X CPU, and now the 3080 and 32 gig of RAM. Like it's not a slouch. It'll be able to handle it, no problem. But I just felt like just having less problems. I just wanted to, let the machine take care of itself.
Yes.
I'm running 3 capture cards in my machine, so one for each camera, and then the third for the PlayStation, and that goes pretty well.
You just have the PlayStation 5, right? That's the only console.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I'm really happy with that purchase. I think the games alone have the ones again, it's games that I'm into. So there's Demon Souls and well, now Horizon and Returnal. Returnal was worth it by itself. Like that's my kind of game. I got lucky there. So, I'm very happy.
I the last one that you just mentioned, I don't think I know what that game is. Returnal?
Returnal, yep. It is a third person roguelike shooter.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is it's extremely good. It was one of my games of the year last year.
Oh my god, is it as beautiful in these screenshots as it is in game?
Yep.
Wow. That looks incredible. Um did you ever get into Faster Than Light FTL?
Yeah. Yeah,
You did?
yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Well, so here's the thing. I'm not much of a strategy gamer. Um it's one of those things that I would love to I would I get stressed in games. It may not show on the surface, you may not be able to tell, but there's certain elements in video games that stress me out. One of those things is managing a group of people. What compounds that is managing multiple groups of people.
Sure.
So think about XCOM, right? I love the game, love it. It's sci-fi. It's got aliens. It's got laser weapons. It's you take cover. It's very much where like you can inject a lot of your own. How do you explain that? What's the term where you feel like you're in the game? Like if I make a badass sniper and I call it McQueeb, right?
Right.
I feel like I'm investing time in that person.
Okay.
Now, what happens in XCOM and in Darkest Dungeon is that one of or a couple of your main core group will get injured or whatever, right? Something will happen to them. They'll be in training for a week or they'll be in the infirmary for a couple of weeks, whatever. And during that time, you have to train up somebody else. That's where things for me start to fall down.
Okay.
It's I don't know if it's silly or what, but I get anxiety around separation of in-game characters. You know
Okay.
those moments in Final Fantasy VII where you've got an awesome group, but then for some reason the game decides, no, fuck you. I'm gonna take these two characters and they're gonna go off for half the game and do their own thing. Hate it. I hate it.
So I'm going to piss off a couple people. I've never finished a Final Fantasy game ever, nor have I put more than 10 hours into. Okay, so I take that back. I put 20 hours into the Final Fantasy MMO, which I believe is Final Fantasy 15, and I attempted to play Final Fantasy 10-2 on stream, and that shit was awful. That game
Well, it is,
fucking
yes.
sucked. It's just again, it doesn't suck. It's not a bad game. It's just not my game. Final Fantasy is not my vibe.
No, you were
Uh,
right the first time. That's a very so it's a divisive title because it's very it takes so Final Fantasy X is one of the most beloved Final Fantasies around, right? If you're not the biggest fan of the classics, the Super Nintendo era versions, right? Then it's 7, 8, 9, and 10. They're sort of the be all and end all when it comes to that that time period. Um, 10 was groundbreaking for a number of different reasons. 10-2 was like an absolute departure from that, and
okay.
cheesy music and dancing and dress spheres, and
The
I
voice
get it.
acting. Oh
I get,
my
yeah.
god, the voice acting in that game.
Well, we can. That's a whole nother conversation entirely. But yes, yeah, and I don't blame you for not liking Final Fantasy. It's not everyone's cup of tea. It's turn-based RPG, but the RPG um, is really it's quite loose. It's more of a story game than
Hmm.
anything else. And if you're not down to follow along and get into the world, then the rest of it's also going to crumble. So I don't blame you at all for not liking it at all. No, I don't.
The, the
You like what you like, right? Like you
right.
might like pineapple on pizza, and I know that's a very divisive conversation. And previously, I would have been like, "Oh, let's go to war." I don't give a shit what you like or not. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Like that's your thing. Um, no, I've decided to be more adult when it comes to, I don't want to. I think the term recently is I don't want to yuck anyone's yum.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that very recently. In fact, somebody said they came in and I was playing something. I can't remember what. Oh, it was Elden Ring, and they said I don't want to yuck anyone's yum, but this game looks boring. I was like, well, you did exactly just
You
the
did,
thing that you
you
did.
just did that. um, I did lie a second ago. I have played a shit ton of Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, which I think was for the GameCube, but it also might have been for another. And I've talked about this a lot on my stream because it was like one of my most memorable gaming moments. I went on vacation with one of my friends and their family, and he brought his GameCube, and then we each had our Game Boy Advance. And if you had these special cables, you could plug the Game Boy Advance into the GameCube and use it as a controller.
Yep.
And having the Game Boy Advance's screen as a secondary display for the GameCube was fucking mind blowing at that time.
Yep.
And we played that game to death. And that is still one of my all-time favorite gaming experiences. Like right behind. Did you ever play Phantasy Star Online?
No, but I've
Nope.
heard a lot about it. That was the one that required a dial-up modem attachment for the Dreamcast, right?
So I played it on Xbox, the original Xbox, after its launch on Dreamcast.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. But again, just one of those super, not homecoming, super wholesome gaming memories of just being all on the same TV with some friends and game. Like, man, what a life to all be gaming in the same room on the same console on the same TV with nobody with cell phones, no girlfriends, no outside. The only outside distraction was what's in the fridge upstairs. That was the only thing that existed outside of the basement and gaming those days. And, was it amazing? Yeah. Do I want to go back to that? No, not necessarily.
Isn't it weird? It's weird. And you can probably appreciate this as much as I do, but being of the age that we are, we
Whoa.
got to see.
Put us in the same
Yeah,
bracket.
I know. I got a few. Like, it's my 25-year high school reunion this year.
God damn.
We got to grow up with that entire evolution of gaming. I got to see a little bit more than some, but it makes you really appreciate where we are now. The freedom
Absolutely.
that we have, the flexibility that we have, the options that we have, the libraries that we have. Like and it's not just video games either. Like I'm a tech nerd, you're a tech nerd. Like seeing the cool shit that comes out now, like the microphone you're using, the technology in that versus, even 5 years ago.
Yeah. There was no Stream Deck 5 years ago. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. Do you, on the conversation of technology, do you feel like you are on the verge of getting left behind as far as how fast technology is advancing? Or do you feel like you have a pretty good grasp on what's going on? Web3, crypto, NFTs.
Well, all of that shit can die in a fire. I don't care about that at all. But so yes and no. No, in terms of like if something cool comes out, I want it, I'll get it. Right? That's fine. Learning that, setting it up, there's part of me that doesn't want to learn a lot of new stuff. Like I used to be a web designer, web developer. I would have to start over again in web. Like, to forget all the new technologies, even if we're going back to the basics, right? HTML, CSS, I would have to learn all of that again. It's if because I haven't used it in so long, you lose it. And I'm just so busy with streaming. I get so much value from interacting with my community, and that to me is more important than, learning a bunch of new stuff. Um, even let's talk about OBS, right? You had some problems tonight, and I installed a virtual camera plugin, forgetting completely that OBS has had that now for what, a year and a half.
Right.
Uh, there's a lot of stuff. Like, I'm willing to learn the bare minimum to get up and running, but I don't want to get too complicated. I run a very clean, simple stream, and I see no reason to go beyond that. It's not, and this has always been the case. I'm not a classroom learner. Like, that's why I didn't do very well at school. Uh, and learning on my own it requires discipline that I might not have. So
One
yeah.
of the one of the features that I was trying to use tonight that is failing, and it might be because my graphics drivers are out of date on the streaming PC. But your camera right now is on a monitor that I can't even see in my peripherals. And 5 years ago, if you wanted to see what was going on that monitor, you needed to turn around and fucking look at it, unless that monitor was going through a capture card. But
Yep.
now you install NDI tools, which NDI is now completely separate from OBS. Well, not that it was ever, NDI didn't live in OBS, but the most common way to use it for streamers was within OBS. You can just run NDI in your computer and send your display, whatever's on that display, to any device in your internal network. And so what I do is I screen capture whatever on that monitor, and I just open up an NDI monitor on my main screen, and I can look at you even though you and your audio are happening on a totally different PC. And just that functionality again is fucking awesome. It came in handy when I was doing craft streams in the craft room or doing kitchen streams. I would just NDI audio and video back and forth between PCs. And now there's dedicated hardware from new tech and third-party companies where you can send NDI. Elgato has their Epoch Cam, which allows you to take your phone camera and use it as a webcam. And there's other utilities. There is so much at our disposal now. And again, it's almost too much for what some people need. But for the people that, want to go above and beyond, they have so many options now.
We used OBS at my old job.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. But we would never update it. Once it works, you just leave it. There's certain situations where, again, that's in production, right? It's the design. If you've got a brain like mine and constantly need to update shit all the time, you got to get that out of your head super fast, because you can't be dealing with, when stuff has to be online 24/7, you just don't touch it.
And with how many awesome things that OBS has been adding in recent updates, it's like, oh god, I don't want to fucking update so bad.
Yep. I finally yesterday, so I use Stream Elements. Yesterday, Stream Elements released their SE Live plugin update to finally come in line with the latest version of OBS. So that's all working together now. You won't get logged out every time you quit the application and all the rest from
I was
like
wondering about
custom
that.
docs and stuff. Yeah. There was a game I used to play called Noita. Still play it occasionally. And I did the world's first no damage run in that. When I was originally 2 years ago doing runs in that, like practice runs and trying to get that achievement, I would so I'd open up OBS and I'd have my SE Live running, and I would have slobs open in its own, like, because running two copies of OBS at the same time, very difficult to do. So I had slobs installed as well, and I sent an NDI package of just the gameplay footage to Slobs so I could get a separate recording locally that was clean.
Ah, okay.
I did that 2 years ago. Now it's super simple. You can export like a source. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
we take stuff for granted, but getting that to work back in the day, that took days. Days of
Absolutely.
research.
Yeah, so you probably weren't at your last job when OBS Classic was a thing. You probably used OBS Studio through and through.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay. And those, were you streaming when OBS Classic was a thing?
No, I started streaming in 2019.
Oh my God. So, man, it always boggles my mind how well some people can do on this platform in such a small amount of time. And there's, of course, there's always like a hint of jealousy, right? Just a little bit of not angst, envy when you see people do so well so fast. But it's also like, yeah, they got it. They got what it takes. And that was
Yep.
before you were really doing much on other social media platforms, right? You were just focusing on Twitch.
I didn't have TikTok then, obviously. So I started in with Minecraft. I've still got my stats pulled up here. Average 7 to 10 viewers almost immediately. I got rated in my first week. So I made affiliate in the first week, and I made partner at about 13 months.
Oh my God.
Um, so that would have been around the time. Yeah, about I'd say 100 average at about 13 months. Um,
It was that Noita that you were playing at that time during
that
partnership?
so I went from Minecraft to another game called Dicey Dungeons, which was the first roguelike I streamed.
Okay.
And then I went from that to Noita as soon as that came out, and I stuck with it. And I think I was uploading some YouTube content, but not much. But then I did the no damage run, and then the developer of the game put my beard logo in the game as a sort of hidden reward for people that complete it without doing damage.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's cool. They asked me permission on Twitter, and I was like, Yeah.
Yeah. It was now is that the one video that I thought you tweeted out recently that you had a YouTube video that had a couple 100,000 views?
Uh-huh.
And is that
That
the no-hit run?
No.
Okay.
No. That video that you're talking about, I had a conversation with Sam Woodle today. Actually, we spoke.
Fucking love Sam.
Um, he wanted to know a little bit about my YouTube journey. He's planning something with YouTube,
Awesome.
with a buddy of his, and that video, he asked about that video specifically because it's at now 535,000 views.
Wow.
I
Half a
I
mil.
don't know why. Sam said that he thinks that um it's got like an intriguing thumbnail, and the title of it says, "Can you win without moving?" So it's like a call to
Mm.
action, and it's a challenge in the same breath, right? So that's got me thinking a little bit. I don't like I put some thought into the titles and thumbnails because I know how important it is, but at the same time, just more work, dude.
Mm-hmm.
They say you should spend more time on tags, titles, and thumbnails and description than anything else when it comes to YouTube. And I get it. I just don't have the time.
That is so I have this terrible cycle where I procrastinate. I write the script and then I procrastinate recording it because every day when I come home from my day job to think about getting in front of a camera and recording 20 to 30 minutes of footage, because recording videos for YouTube after work is completely different than going live after a day of work. Because going live, you can be what the fuck ever. You can be sloppy. You can be unfulfilled. you can have not a lot of energy, and your community will roll with that. But in my opinion, when it comes to YouTube, you have a little bit of a reputation to uphold, because there's rewatchability with the stuff that goes on YouTube. And to be at my best in order to get on camera for YouTube is so daunting sometimes after a full day's work. So I write the script, I push off recording for 3 days, I record it, I edit it, and 10 or 12 hours have gone by, and then I go to hit upload. I'm like, oh my fucking God, I'm done. I'm done. I don't have to do this again until next week. And then I remember that I haven't done the thumbnail, and I haven't thought of a title yet. And I realized I didn't shoot or take pictures for a thumbnail. I'm like, oh my
Yep.
God, it's this is so fucking worse. And again, you learn about yourself and what is going to work for your channel. And but yeah, coming up with the thumbnails is definitely the
It's
worst part of
almost
it.
it's almost like you get to the point where you're like, what's the bare minimum I can get away with, right? I remember there was a video I uploaded, and I rewatched it on just to make sure that the YouTube upload had taken. Sometimes, well, it's not a thing anymore, really, but it never used to take sometimes, right? And it was flawless. It was fine, and we get to the end card, and I hadn't chromed the end card. So there was this green splash before the slide in, and I just sat there looking at it, and I'm like, this will take me 10 minutes, 30 seconds to edit, then to render the video again. If it's a big video on my 2018 MacBook Pro, it's gonna be, maybe overnight. I won't reach the 6 a.m. Time that I want to publish a video. YouTube editor, cut those bits out, and I just published it as it was.
Yup.
Just roll with a few frames missing, right? Thumbnails are the same. Like, yes, I could take a really, really high quality reaction shot or whatever, or I can just open up Photoshop, select the bottom right hand corner of anything with me going, wow, and then select subject in Photoshop, and boom, it's done. It's going to look like shit. The edges are going to be rough. Um, the it might not even be the right look. It's going to be blurry because it's going to be blown up. You're like, screw it, upload it anyway.
Fuck it.
Just do it. Sometimes you have to. I said this to I've got an editor working with me at the moment, and he's learning as we're going. So we're sort of growing together, and he's concerning himself a lot with the way the videos look and certain elements. And I'm like, quantity is greater than quality on YouTube. As much as I hate to say that, like, I run a gaming channel. I'm not Marcus Brownlee, right? Like, you either like my content from me or you don't, and that's fine, and I can live with that. I don't, whatever. It's not
And
it's not my main.
yeah, it's not your brain, your main bread and honey, right? It's more of an archive highlight area than it is your primary revenue stream.
Yeah. Now, in saying that video that got 500,000 views, let me just take a quick look here, has made in, when did I upload that one? I'll check the date in a sec. That was uploaded January 30, so a month. It's made $615.
Wait a minute. January of this year?
Yeah, a month ago.
500,000 views and $600 in ad revenue from that one. Wow. I thought that was an older video. I didn't know that was recent.
No, that's why I tweeted about it. It's because I don't understand what that magic sauce was. I don't know why YouTube latched onto it. Like, if I could bottle that and sell it, oh my God, I would. But
Right.
yeah, no, that was just a lucky shot, I guess. And the game happens to be doing pretty well. It's a $3 game on Steam, so it's very, very popular.
Have you ever played over 9,000 zombies?
No.
Okay, so this is another roguelike game, which Noita reminded me of, just like the style and the viewpoint of the camera. But it's a game where you're just a single dude in a pixelated town, and you are just defending yourself against thousands and thousands of zombies. And I played this game a couple times with my friend Bourbon, and I think one of our runs lasted a couple hours. My arms were actually on fire from hitting the shoot button so much because the amount of enemies that swarm you, and then of course you get resources to build up defenses. It's kind of like a defend your castle roguelike.
Mhm.
If you're ever venturing out and looking for another game to try, check out that game and let me know
Got
what
it
you
on.
think.
I've got it on the screen. Yeah, $2
Okay.
game.
$2 game. Yep. And we played it maybe a couple times in a weekend, and I haven't touched it since. But again, just a great gaming experience and beyond hectic. And do you ever do co-op streams at all? Where you game with other streamers?
It's very rare if I do. I prefer single player experiences. I from the Minecraft days. I actually used to co-op a lot in Minecraft, and we'd have even like viewer days, and I even ran a server, and people would jump on and stuff. And
Oh wow.
um, there was some trolls and some things that were said on voice chat that I just don't want to deal with any of that. I've got to trust the person inherently if we're going to be playing together. I'm not against it. Like I've had offers of playing Elden Ring. Unfortunately, it's what do they call it? Not cross play compatible or whatever.
Right.
So in other words, me being on PlayStation is a limitation there because most people are on PC.
Okay.
One of the first things I did, and I tweeted about this as well, is I turned off network mode. I'm playing Elden Ring offline because the notes that just get left everywhere are just infuriatingly. They get in the way of trying to interact with objects. You see the same thing over and over again. The try finger butt hole joke only goes so far before it gets really tiresome.
It would never get. I would never get old. I would
I
gobble it
figured
up
you might
every
enjoy
time.
that one, yeah.
Maybe a little bit, maybe a little.
But I just want to play it. Like, and so another thing, so you can either, so let's say there was a trap upcoming, right? It's one of those. It's a very unforgiving game. You fall into a trap, most likely you're going to lose your life. You have to start over, or revive or whatever. People will say loot ahead, or they'll say trap ahead. Either way, I don't want to know because I want to experience that the way the developers intended. If someone says loot ahead, there'll be a message behind it and says liar ahead, right? So it's just because it's a brand new game and it's a brand new FromSoft game. It's got this massive audience. I don't know how many people are watching right now on Twitch, but it's probably ridiculous, right? Let me have a quick look here. Oh, it's come down. It's come down a lot, actually. We're at 440,000 viewers.
Only.
Yeah, right. I just want to experience it myself, right? If there's a trap, let me learn that, right? The game designers have poured their heart into this, and I want to experience that. I want to experience the intended, That's just me.
Sure.
So I'm very much against most multiplayer experiences. Yeah, you'll never see me playing a shooter multiplayer game. I tried Tarkov for a little bit, and I played with a buddy of mine and Pink Lemons from TikTok, and like it was good, but it was just a very difficult game, and I didn't get that same element of excitement that I used to get from that style of game.
Hmm.
when would have LAN parties and we were playing Medal of Honor on the Snowy Park level, and you'd hear the crunching of snow under somebody's feet, very, very close to you, and you'd get that heightened, like your hair would stand on end, right? And you'd be
Yeah.
like, I don't get that anymore. I don't know. It's
Oh
just
man.
I see John C. Stout playing like Apex or whatever he plays, and he gets so into it, and it's just this beast comes out of him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. To put it lightly.
And I put myself in his shoes, and I'm like, eh.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like that doesn't translate to me. But I'm sure his viewers love it. That's what they're there for. They're there to experience John. And um yeah. Hey, I have a question for you.
Yeah, real quick.
And
I was just gonna say that Bourbinator 88 in chat. That was the gentleman that I was playing the zombie game. I can't remember
oh,
the
right
name.
on.
Over 9,000 zombies. Bourbinator. We were just talking about that game and how sore our arms were from playing with each other, and how on fire we both were. But yeah, I'm sure he'll speak highly of that game. But hey, question. You had a question.
So I asked this of most other Twitch streamers, and I think it's a healthy question. You did mention that element of jealousy before,
Mhm.
but on the same mindset, or even taking that mindset and flipping it, who do you look up to, and who are your top three? So let's think of a good, better, best situation, right?
Okay.
Let's think of good as in somebody in your playing field that's doing very well. Um, a better situation, someone sort of the next level, making a full-on career out of what they're doing.
Okay.
And then the best situation, which is fucking Asmongold, right?
Sure.
Top of the top, millionaires. Who are your three progressive people that you look up to?
So I feel like there are two sides to this question. There are the people that are doing what I'm doing or creating the same type of content that I am. So people that I am looking up to that are doing just chatting, educational, technology based content. And then there are, it's almost like a multifaceted question because there's people who I like who they are. And then there are other content creators who I like what they're doing. So as far as good, somebody that I speak highly of very often, Middle Age Stream. He's somebody who is on this podcast every other week. I've known him for 5 years, and just at the height of the pandemic, he went from 20 to 30 average viewers to hundreds of people. And he had made some very significant changes to his channel and then just struck gold and took off. And it's been so fucking cool to see. So he has moved from the good area over to the gooder. Was it gooder, goodest?
Sure.
Okay. And then so as far as on my levels, anywhere in between like the 30 to 50 viewer range.
Oh, it doesn't even have to be that, but just like someone like let's talk about maybe milestones or even time frames, right? So for example, I would like to hit 1,000 viewers by the end of this year.
Damn. Okay.
Now, whether or not I can do that, whatever but that's kind of the area that I want to move into, right? Like I want to be able to make sure that the income that I get from Twitch or content creation, whatever you want to call it, is enough that it buys me the time that allows me to put more into it.
Yes. And the money to delegate responsibilities.
Yeah.
Fucking shit.
Yep.
Yes. Um so because I have and I know our perspectives are going to be a little bit different because I have a day job and now content creation is your main source of income. So my my aspirations have migrated away from number based milestones and now transformed into something like my goal is to become a trusted educator within the tech community in content creation.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
that is one of my goals. Um Walking away from streaming as being my primary content has been extremely difficult because Twitch partner was never the end game, but it definitely was validation that what I was doing was right. And to walk away from trying to become a larger, maybe full-time streamer was admitting that I was not what the platform was looking for. And I still kind of believe that right now. I believe that I am an okay streamer that has a grandfathered community. A lot of the people that are in my community are people that have been around for a long time. But actually, lately, we've been getting a lot of new people because of YouTube and TikTok.
Mhm.
So my goals on Twitch right now are to just keep up with consistency and, again, to become trusted and to have a reputation that is understanding, empathy, and open-minded. Because and I know that you've experienced this for quite some time, tech can pigeonhole you so easily based on the choices in hardware and software that you make. They choose who you surround yourself with, whether you are
Mhm.
an Android person or an Apple person. In a professional stance, if you are a Mac person or a Windows person, the tech world is so divided, and what you use and what you like starts the conversation for you before you even have a chance to speak. And more than any other hobby or group that I've been involved with, tech is the most divisive and segregates people more than anything based on the things that people use. And so the approach that I've tried really hard to take when it comes to tech, and especially in content creation, is you have to look at it from more than your own perspective. You have to be able to keep an open mind and understand why people do what they do with their tech, and try to make your content appealing to people other than yourself. You have to make it uh you have to make it approachable for people in order to be successful with it. And having empathy is not always something that I have been really good at. That's something that I've had to learn in the past, I'd say maybe 3 or 4 years, and it has really helped me shape my content now. Just because, like, what I'm doing now is really, really different compared to what I was doing a couple years ago. Um,
Right.
to top off my answer from your original question, I would love to be the Devin Nash of tech in the content creation space. I love that his streams are just chatting focused, that talks about current events as well as takes feedback and criticism from the community, and has a very educational and valuable show. When you show up to a Devin Nash stream, well, before 2022, because he doesn't stream on Twitch right now, um, I always knew that I was going to learn something. I knew that he was taking something from current day or modern day and giving and tying his expertise and knowledge into the subject that he was talking about.
Mhm.
And then what he was queuing up for his YouTube channel was highlights of the things that he was teaching. And to have, again, I don't want to be Devin Nash, but to do the same thing at what he's doing, but more focused on the tech and the tech news side of it, I feel like that's kind of my dream at the moment. If I
Mhm.
could have just a couple streams a week, and then but also follow through on the short form content and the YouTube content, that would be pretty dope.
Yep. Right on.
I know that was a lot. I kind of went on a little bit of a tangent there.
No, it's beautiful. I love see this is the thing. We could talk for days on content creation and what it means and that somebody mentioned it in chat earlier. They said that you've embraced the most plateaued streamer title. I wish you wouldn't do that. I
I'm,
know
I,
it's a thing. I know it's a
yeah,
thing and it's funny and whatever else, but you're more than that.
I know, and I haven't looked at my average viewership a year and a half. I haven't actually looked at my stream stats. So the only inkling of an idea that I have of my viewership is when I rate somebody at the end of my show. That is the only time that I see how many people are in the stream.
Right. Right.
So, however, based on chat activity and the amount of new people that I've seen in chat recently, I know that there's been growth on my channel. I don't know how much, but I'm confident in saying that I could probably drop the plateaued title and the self-deprecating aura that comes with it, because there's been growth and advancements in myself and my content in the past 12 months that I had not seen in years. Because if I was to be honest, a lot of my content before I switched over to just chatting was quite subpar. My gaming focused content wasn't good, and it's why I didn't do good on Twitch, because I wasn't in the right spot. Twitch partner would still be awesome, but I'm not planning on getting it with streaming twice a week for 6 hours.
Right.
But we'll see what happens.
I hear a lot of people say, I am really sick of the Twitch content on TikTok. I started doing it when I joined TikTok in 2020, and um, I've kind of broken out of it. Like it's still Twitch adjacent. It's still Twitch relevant. But it's not the advice part of it. Do you know what I mean? It just that seems to it. Two things. It's you see the same thing all the time,
Mhm.
and it comes in waves. There's like cycles, right?
Yep.
So like I'm proudly January or February of 2020. That's my date of inception, I guess. It's just painful seeing the same thing and over and over again. If you spend any length of time more than a couple of months on the platform, you're going to
Mhm.
see it because it comes in cycles. You've been doing exceptionally well on TikTok. But one of the things that I do see come up from time to time again is people saying, don't use the small streamer moniker, right?
Mhm.
Like don't use that as a collective term. I don't see any harm in that. Like I'm not calling myself small. I'm saying that I'm in a certain core demographic. And these are the people that are my peers, are my competition, which we are, whether you like it or not.
100%. Yep.
Um, and this is how I should be marketing myself, like to grow. Like, yes, call yourself a growing streamer if you want. You're just going to sound stupid saying it. But no, I used to, but again, that's a piece of advice that I used to give people because I thought it was, I don't know, I'm trying to make myself look good or sound profound or something. I don't know what causes half the people to say half the shit that they do on TikTok. Um, but well, maybe okay. So somebody just said it. You think it falls back onto what your definition of small is? I consider myself a small streamer,
Mhm.
which a lot of people go, what? No,
I
you're
only
not.
get 3 viewers, McQueeb, and you're up there sitting at 200. How could you be small?
But I am because my scale might be different than theirs as well,
Exactly.
right? So like when you talk about the question I asked before, good, better, best.
Mhm.
So the people where I want to be at the end of this year is Lethal Frag's level, right? In a couple of years, I'd like to be Dan's Gaming, so 4,000 viewers. And I don't necessarily have to reach Co-Carnage's level, but if that was to happen, right? If that progression was ongoing, then that's my best scenario. But again, that income, that money is I don't need it. I hate money. If I don't have it, I always need it. But if I've got it, I don't care about it. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? Like it means nothing to me other than the ability to put a roof over my family's head and feed my snakes and dogs. That's it.
There's two when I think about where I want to be financially, there's two things that always stick out to me. One, I want to be able to go out to eat anywhere, anytime, and not worry about what is in the bank account. Like it's a
That'd be
Friday
nice.
night and
Yeah.
it's a 3 Michelin star sushi restaurant on the corner. Let's fucking go. Okay. That's important to me. Or when you're on vacation, being able to swipe that bitch at any shop, at any restaurant, at
Yep.
any
Yep.
whorehouse, and get whatever you want for that 7 day period, those 7 days out of the year where you are free from the shackles of your everyday life to just swipe that bitch whenever you wanted.
Ms. Queeb and I met in Vegas, and we went on a week vacation there, and I treated it like that. I was in debt up to my eyeballs, still am. But for that week, I didn't give a fuck about anything.
Yes.
And we ate steak, and we went to buffets, and we stayed in a really nice hotel, and I was on a different planet. I felt free. I felt calm.
Yeah.
Now I have what, 6 weeks of rent in my bank account. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm fucking stressed. And I'm unfortunately one of those people that constantly worries about money. TwitchCon 2019, I went with a buddy of mine. He's not streaming anymore. Hopefully he comes back to it. But he told me that, like, we were talking about money or something, and he told me that he just doesn't worry about it. If it's not something he can fix right now, why even have that thought in your head? I was so jealous of him in that moment, being able to do that.
Yeah.
So, like, I've never wanted a personality trait in my life more than that, because it puts, like, just again, ask Miss Queeb. She'll back me up on everything I'm saying right now. She puts up with a lot of my shit, and when it comes to money, nothing stresses me out more. On that, I have recently found I don't know what you'd call it, a PR partner, or an advertising partner, a brand partner, I guess. Somebody that gets deals for me. And so far I've accepted 3 that are in the works. I'm working on editing a video right now. And I'm upfront with my community about it. I'm like, I've made this partnership, and you're going to be seeing a lot more sponsored content. And everybody's on board. So I think being upfront and humble about it is quite, letting people that sort of view behind the curtain, super important when it comes to community. Yeah.
One of the things that really surprised me that I was able to do recently when I first announced that I had a Amazon affiliates store, and I just said, "Hey, like money that I make from content creation goes immediately back into," and these are the things that I want to do. I have this new Amazon account. If you find that you're getting ready to make a large purchase and you don't mind me just giving you an affiliate link for that thing, you would be supporting the channel. Like, that is a way that you can
Yeah.
support the channel without spending any extra money. And the amount of people that reached out was like, I got this in my Amazon cart right now. Give me some links for this. And to this day, I still have people that reach out and do that. And it's like, man, that's one of the things that gives you the idea that you might be doing something right. Like, if people have the connection to do that for you, it makes you feel great. It's just a great little subconscious pat on the back. There we go. I can say that.
Yep.
Um,
No, that's I think I have one of those as well. And that's one of the ways you can support the channel, is by bookmarking that link.
mhm.
If you go shopping, nothing changes on your end at all. I get a small kickback from some of the purchases that you make, depending on the product, right?
In regards to our earlier conversation about where where we want to see ourselves with our own content, months down the road or years down the road. So one of the shifts in mindset that I've had is in the opposite direction that Twitch wants. I do not focus on tips or bits or subs. There's no sub goals. There is very little focus on those in the stream, whereas it used to be the forefront. I sort of have come to strongly dislike the culture of the only reason I can do this is with my community's direct financial support.
Right.
So my goal as a content creator is to instead milk the corporations and advertising agencies that have billions upon billions of dollars and source the majority of my revenue from them so that the end user can continue to enjoy the content for very, very cheap or free.
Yep. Yep.
And one of the hardest things is moving your content, moving my live content away from focusing on those things, because it's about subs, it's about drive, it's about power. We stay hungry, we devour. You don't get
Hey,
that,
I like
do you?
that.
No. Wait, do you not know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
God damn it. See, I can't tell. I can't tell, McQueeb. Transitioning away from it is the complete opposite of the culture of Twitch. But it's not enough to make me not stream. Even though that's maybe not where I want the vibe of my channel to be, I really, really want to see this channel be slightly successful without the monetary shit being at the forefront. And again, another highlight point of Devin Nash's stream, like we're obviously thankful for the monetary support of our community. But when you go there, you're not looking for like massive community support and hype trains and bit towers and all that stuff. It's about the value of the creator and what education they are bringing to the table. And that shift is difficult, and it makes me think that there's a really good chance that I won't see growth on this platform because my desire for my content isn't quite aligned with what Twitch wants right now. But at the same time, there's also a small chance that that's where the industry goes. And that's the basis of YouTube. YouTube has not been based on the direct monetary support of the subscribers. It was the ad revenue and getting paid from YouTube. And I so badly want that to exist on Twitch. So that it's not up to the ability to do your job is not up to your community.
I'm in agreement with you. I'm not in that state though. As much as I would like to be.
Sure.
I don't produce a product at the moment that I'm not in the tech world, and I'm in games, but there's like I said, I'm working with a brand manager now that hopefully will start to shift things for me. Speaking of ads on Twitch, can I tell you the offer that they sent me?
NDA? Hashtag NDA?
I don't know.
Are you talking about the most recent, like their, hey, make consistent revenue from ads on Twitch? I think you can share that.
Okay. So I'll tell you what, I won't tell you the dollar amounts. I will say that it's not in my best interests to do it.
Okay.
But I will tell you the required streaming hours per month.
Okay.
192 hours a month. That's over 6 hours a day. They want me to stream and run ads every hour. Either 1 minute, 2 minutes, or 3 minutes of ads per hour, depending on which tier that I wanted to go for.
Wow.
And that's if I stream every day.
Which is
terrible.
2 days, yeah. If I took 2 days off, like that goes up.
Can you? That
I'm
is
I'm blown
like
away. I don't get it. And the dollar amount, like if you added a zero to it, I'd consider it. But no, no,
that is
it is
like
not worth my time doing that.
being in a work Zoom call for 6 hours. Can you imagine being in like a Teams or a Zoom call at work with your colleagues for fucking 6 hours a day, 7 days a week?
So here's the thing. I've spoken to my community about ads on Twitch, and I do run them occasionally, right? Usually whenever I take a break. The consensus is that A, pre-rolls are the worst, and B, we don't mind ads as long as we don't miss quote unquote content, right? Whatever that looks like for you. For me, it's the game, me playing the game, and me talking about the game and to chat. Um, so I usually run a 2-minute block during the starting soon. And then I've been lax lately. I just got out of the habit of running ads, but I generally speaking, at the end of a run or when I get up to go for a break, I will run a block of ads, right? And they're cool with that, and it disables pre-rolls, which I love. Um, but this would require every hour up to 3 minutes of ads, again, depending on which sort of which block that I was looking at an unreasonable, like an unhealthy amount of streaming. Now I might hit 200 hours of streaming a month, but that's me because I want to, not me because I'm incentivized to do it for Twitch. There's a big difference between those two things, right? So I was surprised by that. I was very, very surprised. And I won't be partaking.
And compared to, back in the day when I sat down and watched Alias, Jennifer Gardner TV show with my parents, an hour show was 39 minutes of program and 21 minutes of advertisements. So,
Yep.
but the amount of ads is beside the point. It's the amount of streaming that you have to do. And it's like the 40 hours a week of a day job is already too fucking much. 50 hours of being in front of a camera and being entertaining, and you have to incentivize that amount of watch time from the viewer, right? What is the
Yep.
incentive to uphold that average viewership for that long? I remember I was watching Loco, again, going back to Good, Better, Best. I would say that Loco is one of the people that I look up to the most. She does
Interesting.
kind of the same thing where she does just
Mhm.
chatting content, but educational as far as stream industry. She runs both Streamer Square and Solar Stream, and love her content. And she was going
Have you
over.
looked at those programs, by the way? I've looked at people selling packages and courses and stuff, and most of the times, there's nothing in those programs that you can't get elsewhere for nothing.
Correct.
Do you think I haven't looked at her product, so I don't know it very well, but I do respect her as a person. I think she's a nice person, so that's you know.
Why did you laugh? That's like the third time that you've laughed tonight. I never know, McQueeb.
For me, like, so that's the thing with me. Like, you can shill a product, right?
Yeah.
But if you're a shitty person, I'm not gonna want to deal with you before we even get to the product.
Exactly.
I even had that. I had that TikTok recently. Somebody wanted me. They came into the channel and they didn't say, "Hey, McQueeb, I made a mod. Do you mind if I DM you about it?" This is a mod for Noita.
Mm.
They said, "The best mod got released today." And then the next comment 5 minutes later was, "Hey, have you managed to check out this mod? It's really, really good." And that's when my ears started to pick up a little bit. And I'm like,
Hmm.
That's all you've been talking about. Are you like I just want to know, be honest with me. If you work for the company, if you created something, whatever, just tell me, right? I'm happy I'll happily check out your mod if it's something I'm interested in. If you're a decent, you know, if that relationship can start somewhere professionally, we can make great things. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? I don't even have to fucking charge you. I'd do this shit for free if I like it. And so he was so under the radar and trying to be coy, and it's just I sniffed it out straight away. And I ended up having to ban him because I warned him. I said, dude, that's the wrong way to go about it. And now I don't want to deal with you
Yeah.
because you've fucked it up.
You ruined it.
The interesting thing about it, I had seen another very large YouTube creator talk about this mod, did a showcase on the mod, and it looks really good. So shame, because I'll never try it.
Big shame.
Yeah.
So full disclosure, I created content for SolarStream. So a while before it actually released, I've been friends with Loco for a good while, and she
Mhm.
reached out and said, "Hey, we want to get you involved in this project." And I
Okay.
coming from somebody who I didn't necessarily believe in stream coaching, but I saw the value behind the scams. I was involved with a couple people within the stream coaching community. Never paid for anything, but got a lot of value out of what some individuals said. Applied it to my own stream, and was successful with it. And then they all went sour. Literally anybody involved with the phrase stream coach turned out to be.
Oh, I've heard of a few notable examples. There's no need to. We,
Yep,
we,
I
we
know.
we won't have to name names tonight. It's
Nope.
fine.
And ever since then, as somebody who strives to create free educational content for people, I believe that there is a place for SolarStream. Again, as somebody who created content for it, I think the subscription's like 10 or 15 bucks a month. But like if you wanna pay 15, 30 bucks to get access to a resource where you can pick and choose the knowledge that you want to ingest and then get what you want and then bounce out, what's a couple coffees in order to get that information? And there is nobody in the content creation space that I trust other than Loco to do that job, because Loco has proven over her 7+ years of content creation that her reputation is, I'm doing this because I want what's best for you. I also have a desire to run a successful business, but I have a keen eye for this type of content within this space, and my passion is helping other people. And her reputation has proven her passion to be authentic and not a front like these other stream coaches have had it.
Sure.
So she's somebody that I personally and professionally believe in. I think she's an awesome person, and everybody's going to be different, right? Do you have 5 hours a day to go out and find the content that you want? Or are you okay skipping a couple lattes and subscribing to a platform where the content is handpicked by the people that are orchestrating the website? So do I
Right. I
think
guess
it's.
that's
Go ahead.
sorry. What I was going to say is that's one thing I kind of glossed over, is that I am one of those people that can go out there and using common sense and the skill sets that I have to find the information that I need, right? So that's something that separates Joe Streamer from somebody who's technologically inclined. So I guess I take that for granted, and that's what I didn't factor into that. Um, I might check it out.
Use
I've
code
followed
Knackers for 10% off your
Lo-
subscription.
um, I followed Loco for a long time, and I do enjoy her content. Interesting. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, it's a conversation that you have to have with yourself, and we're coming up on 9 o'clock here, so I'm going to wrap this up. Um, what I believe and what you believe is common sense might not be common sense. And I think that the way that you and I are able to
Right.
learn is less common.
But I think that comes with years of also dealing with um,
End users.
the end user. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep. 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 100%.
We have a couple questions from chat and from social media earlier, so we'll answer these and then we
Yeah.
will
Let's go.
get you on your way. So the first one came from adorably Reenie. She asked, or it was more of a statement or of a demand rather, wants to know all about the snake babies.
Oh my God. Um, well, I have 5 snakes. They vary in age from a couple of months to a year. We'll be going on probably close to 18 months, I think, on our oldest soon. Ms. Queeb can probably answer these questions a lot better. They're all ball pythons. I have a, hang on a sec, I can give you their specifics, their deets. Um,
5.
we have Huxley, our oldest boy, a GHI lesser yellow belly. We have Feora, butter bamboo, blue-eyed leucistic, Ripley, pastel orange dream leopard. Her brother Murphy is an Enchi, and we have Archie, a pastel GHI Mojave.
Oh,
There you go. So those weird words that I said after each of their names, that's their morph. Now, you know how in dogs you hear the term purebred, right? And it's usually like from they have heritage, right? And those dogs are worth more and they go, there's dog shows and all the rest and whatever, right? With snakes, I don't know if it's all snakes or if it's just these ones specifically, but the broader the mix of genes, the more valuable the snake. Because you get interesting patterns and tendencies and temperaments and it's fascinating. And the number of
interesting.
morph combinations is so vast. But we were thinking of getting into breeding, but a couple of things are going to prevent us from doing that. If we're going to do it, we want to do it very ethically, and we want to care for the snakes in a way that is not common with snake breeding.
Okay.
A lot of them are raised in plastic tubs in a dark environment, and it's fine, right? But we want them to have enrichment from day one. So we would need enclosures for every single one of them with thermostats and the works, right? It wouldn't just be in sort of a shelf situation in a temperature controlled room. Each enclosure would be temperature controlled and humidity controlled and all the rest. So the cost of doing business that way, it doesn't make sense from a business standpoint.
Right.
And number two, we get attached very, very easily. When I say my kids, I mean it. Because
I've
I
seen
had a snake whose name was Teddy, and he had a genetic condition that he wouldn't eat, but he was the sweetest thing, and he's my best friend, and I'm starting to tear up about it already. Um, yeah, if someone wished harm on Teddy, that person would meet an end quicker than he would.
I don't doubt that at all.
Yeah.
At all. We love you for it, McQueeb.
That's all I got to say about that.
All right. No, it's all right. I love it. Second question, and I believe that this is something that hasn't been revealed on stream yet. What's under the hat? Have you ever revealed what is underneath the beanie on stream before?
I mean, yes, in my
Okay.
in my day-to-day life, but not on stream.
Okay. So are you withholding or are you maintaining a Dr. Disrespect level of commitment where the
I have a
hat off on
I have
stream
a
is not an
channel point
option?
redemption.
Do you
Uh,
really?
it is 10 million points.
No fucking way.
If someone gets it, and I have someone in the channel, a couple of people over 2 mil. So it'll be a good couple of years at least.
Okay.
But it will be revealed one day. Yep.
Gotcha. All right. The last question we had was not directed towards you. Sorry, McQueeb. It's not all about you. All right. Somebody asked, "Hey, do you always wear glasses?" And the answer to that question is yes, but I'm wearing different glasses today, which is might be what threw you off. I switch every once in a while. Some of them get too gunky, and then you gotta swap to a less gunky pair of glasses. And with the Q&A being done, this podcast is also finished. So McQueeb, you are a fantastic person to have on a podcast. Like I mentioned before, sharing a podium with you on Anime Stream this last time, I think we talked for 5 hours. I believe when we got offline, it was about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning.
I think John, the stream was definitely starting to devolve. I think at that point, and yeah, it was.
Disintegrate.
And yes, no, it was wonderful chatting to you always, Knackers. I consider you a good friend, and I say this to people all the time in my stream. If you're not on TikTok, get on TikTok. People think of it as the kids app or dancing and silly stuff on there, which is true, but there's probably more people my age than there is kids these days. Like it's helped me immensely, and I'm not even talking about making friends, but I have. And you, I would hold in the highest of regards in that situation. But it's helped me emotionally. It's helped me be more confident through creating TikToks. Like I look back at some of my very, very early TikToks, and they're either poorly edited or, it's obviously taken me many, many takes. Now I do a one or two and done.
Yep.
No breaks, just record straight to the camera.
Exactly.
And that for me is been one of my biggest hurdles, because when I started making videos back in 2012, I was in a bad place, but we can talk about that another time. And being able to hear my voice and not be nervous and record gameplay footage, especially when it's sort of not scripted,
Sure.
that's always been a problem for me, which is odd because I have an acting background, film acting background, which is even funnier. But it's different when you have, a team of people in charge of making you look good versus just you. So
Absolutely.
I'm super thankful for the app, and I'm super thankful for the people that I met. I'm happy to be here, my dude.
I can't thank you enough for taking the time out of your day, especially immediately before you go live. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the amazing, wholesome, and heartfelt conversation. I feel like I can converse into a level that I don't often, at least outside of my normal friend group, right? Even though I've only known you for a short time, I feel very comfortable confiding in you and touching on a little bit more of the difficult conversations. And I have the utmost confidence that you look at things through more than one lens, and that you bring such value to a conversation. And I greatly appreciate the way that you express your side of things, but also consider other side of things. So having you on the show was amazing. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you just being here and accepting the invite. So thank you for being here, and I would love to have you back anytime.
Of course, absolutely. It's always a pleasure, my dude.
Chat, real quick, I'm going to be playing some games on this channel after the podcast ends. So if you guys want to stick around just to play some video games, you're more than welcome. If
you want to watch McQueeb instead, which you are very welcome to do. McQueeb, what are you streaming tonight?
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. Okay, I'm gonna put do a little quest command in chat now, or guest, not quest. Guest.
No, stay here and watch Knackers.
Guests. Oh my God, nothing is working. Dude, everything is broken. All right, listen, click on his name and type in chat really quick, McQueeb, so people can click on your name and they can follow you.
Tell you what, I'll even do an emote so that they can click the emote and then smash that follow button.
Hey, there you go. 200 IQ. Awesome. So McQueeb's playing Elden Ring. I'm playing Duck Game, which is like an 8-bit Super Smash Brothers party game. And I'm bringing on a couple friends to play as well.
Duck Game being played, yeah.
It's fucking awesome. So I don't know if I can actually end the recording in Riverside. So you might just have to leave. And
Just
then
dip, brother.
and that'll
No
be
problem.
the end of it. Have a great night, dude. Thank you so much.
Anytime. Thanks, brother.
Catch ya.